So you may or may not have seen a previous video of mine where I picked up this light pen for the Sinclair Spectrum and reviewed it, and yeah, I was less than impressed with it, to be honest. So it's something I'd always wanted since I was a kid. It looked really cool in the magazines, and then I tried it and I was horribly disappointed with the way it worked, which was not brilliant. But yeah, so the next logical step, of course, is to go and buy another one, because, you know, why not? I saw it up for sale and picked it up. So I've got another light pen and the interface, but this time it's not for the Spectrum, it's for the Amstrad CPC. I was really hoping it might be a little bit better, but of course those hopes have been dashed as well. But well, I mean, I'll set it up and I'll show you what I mean. So I don't have the original box or anything for this one. I literally got the interface and the light pen. Now, the seller did tell me that he found the light pen in the box with it and he doesn't know anything more about it, and he wasn't sure if this was the correct pen for it or not. I would probably suspect it isn't, because this was it's a DK-Tronics interface, and I was expecting a DK-Tronics labelled pen, but this pen doesn't seem to work with it at all, so it may in fact be the wrong pen. I have used it with some success using the light pen for my Spectrum, which is from the same manufacturer, and presumably they use the same technology crossing over. I don't know. But this one does seem to work, so that's what I'm going to use going forward. So if we take a bit of a closer look at it, I'm kind of assuming that this case might have been used for several different products, because if we look at it on the front, we've got the edge connector for the computer, and on the side we've got the socket for the light pen, and then we've got 3 empty holes that don't seem to do anything at all, and the same on the other side as well. Doesn't seem to do anything. So maybe there's an expanded version of this, or maybe they use this case for lots of different things. I don't know. On the back, it's got a pass-through for the edge connector. So if you've got the light pen in, it doesn't stop you using, I don't know, say a printer or whatever, peripheral disk drive or whatever you were plugging into your machine, I suppose. If we take a look inside, in fact, let's do that. Let's just take it apart. So, looking inside, it's an extremely simple thing. It really is. There's a little bit of logic. But the most interesting part of this is this chip right here. So it's got a little ROM. And this is where it differs from the Spectrum model. So the Spectrum, you had to manually load in an extra cassette for the software. With this, it's already baked into the system, so we can access it from a command as soon as we plug it into the machine. Yeah. Okay, let me put it back together and we'll give it a whirl. So it does just connect to the expansion socket on the back of the Amstrad like that, but it did throw me a little bit of a curveball when I was fitting it, because if you look at how it is, I assumed that this gap here was to keep the expansion port next to it clear, but it clearly doesn't do that. And that's when I realised, yeah, it's not designed for the 464, it's designed for the 6128. Although it is electrically compatible with the 464 and will work. But yeah, that makes a bit more sense. So it's definitely designed for the 6128. Anyway, let's power it up and I'll show you it in action. Okay, so we're all set up and ready to go. The interface is plugged in and the pen's ready to go. So let me get you a bit closer to the monitor and we'll take a look. So I am sort of filming a CRT, which is easier said than done. So I apologise for the picture quality, but yeah, it should allow us to have a little look at this. So like I said, the software is baked into the ROM that's on the board itself, so we don't need to worry about loading any software, but we do need to enable it. So we need the bar command, and it's just, I think, light pen, and we're in. Lovely. Hopefully that's coming through on the screen okay. So let me tweak the focus a little bit. Okay, so at this point we can use the keyboard to select different things, or we can use the Lightpen itself. So you'll see, hopefully you'll see, the Lightpen is working, and that's selecting different menus. So we've got load from cassette, save to cassette, load from disk, save to disk, or we can click next. So I'll hold that down and hit return. So we've got clear screen for anything we might have previously drawn, which is nothing, and then we've got this, which is calibrate. So if I hold the pen on there and hit return, you'll see, hopefully you'll see, the cursor moving with the pen. So if I hold it still and use the arrow keys, I can adjust the alignment of that screen to the pen. You'll see it's waving around a little bit, and that's because this is not very accurate. And I'm going to assume it was better than this when it was new. But there's a couple of things you've got to take into consideration. I mean, firstly, the age of it, so maybe it's developed default. Secondly, I'm not using the original pen. I'm using a pen that came in the box for a Spectrum. And thirdly, this is probably the big one actually, I'm not using the original monitor for the Amstrad. I'm using it's an old Panasonic TV. So that could be affecting the timing. So that might be why this is a little bit juddery. I'm going to assume when it was new it worked better than this. It must have, because you wouldn't release a product like this. But anyway, yes, once we're done with the calibration, hit return again. And then next for the next menu. Now we've got draw on the screen, fill, colour, pencil thickness. We go next again. These are the rubber band commands. Colour, pencil thickness again for these commands. Next again. And this is where we can draw our different shapes and we can insert the text. So if we press escape, this will take us back through the same menu. So just for now, just for giggles, we'll just go for draw. And I get the cursor for drawing. And to make it draw, I've got two options. I can either hold down the return key and it will start drawing. But you will see how badly calibrated this thing actually is. It's very difficult to really draw anything. But you get the idea of how it would have worked back in the day. It would have worked a lot better than this, I'm sure. I can also, if I hit return, set a start point and then move my cursor somewhere else and hit space, and it will draw a straight line. And I can keep doing that. Go back to the menu, I can go to the fill command, draw in, I can change my pencil thickness, let's have that. Oh, I'm still on the fill command, that was a mistake. Okay, let's go to draw, and let's go, ooh, yeah, and there we go. I've changed my pencil thickness. We can change the colour. So it's not working brilliantly, this pen, I've got to be honest, but you get the idea. Let's go for yellow, why not? It's a masterpiece. Back into the menu and let's just clear that out. Okay. Once we've drawn something, we do have the option to save it to cassette or disc, although goodness knows why you'd want to. I'm not entirely sure what this software is designed for. Maybe it's more of an introduction to the package. I'm not entirely sure. Because I'm trying to figure out what the actual use for this would have been. And I can see a valid business use for it, and not so much as a drawing tool, but if you want to cycle through on-screen menus very quickly, then yeah, absolutely, this could be, with the right software, very, very useful. I don't know. I don't know, as an artistic tool, I'm assuming it would work better than it is doing now when it was new. But it's still going to be quite a clunky thing to use, so I wouldn't have thought that was the purpose. I'm sure the software that's on here, it's purely just an introduction to the software to the pen's capabilities, and then you would probably write your own software on top of it for whatever application we're going to use. That's what I'm assuming. Because if you're not going to use it for that, then effectively it's just a toy. And I don't really see any practical use for it outside that. But hey, there you go. We've had a look at it. Did you use one back in the day? And if you did, what did you use it for? Please let me know, because I'm really, really curious about that. But yeah, as always, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you on the next one. So thanks.